I'm B,
And I'm Sam.
and we're two best friends who like to talk shit about smut, wingspan.
And sometimes books.
And welcome to our author spotlight, where twice a month we like to sit down to talk about our favourite books.
Completely spoiler free and the perfect way to top up the TBR. Gonna tell everyone what we've been through.
2 hours of absolutely fuck all, quite frankly, is what we've As you can see, we look a little different. A bit more high def. No, but like a bit more, we're a bit more high definition. We're in a new location.
In a parking garage.
And yeah, so if you haven't seen on social media, we have officially moved to our new, I feel like studio is such an obnoxious word to use, but
Studio.
And it's just taken us a hot minute to get this set up.
Yeah, mic issues. Connection issues.
When we were recording previously in my house up until now, it has been a set up and set down situation.
Yeah.
Which even though we set up every week, we still managed to get, and you arrive an hour later than I did today, we still managed to get going a lot quicker than this.
Yeah.
But we've got that like fine-tuned to a T. Coming into this new space, we've been trying a new software. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And we eventually gave up after nearly 2 hours of trying, and here we are.
We admitted defeat.
But we're here, and welcome to November's Author Spotlight.
Happy spooky season.
Oh, we're past spooky season now.
Not for us. It hasn't even been Halloween at the time of recording.
No, not at the time of recording, but at the time of release.
Happy Christmas.
Happy, 5th of November. Happy bonfire night.
Happy Sam's birthday.
Happy Sam's 50th birthday.
I'm not 50, stop it.
But we're back with another author spotlight. We're loving these. Not that we didn't think we wouldn't love them.
No, they've been, my TBR is growing by the second.
They've all been fucking class. And again, not that we didn't expect
it. We're not like, God, you all shocked us. Like, not in that sort of way, but like, we're just so fortunate that everything we've received has been like top tier.
So we are back this month, and it's my turn, obviously, because it's the beginning of the month.
Yep.
And we're doing a standalone.
Do you know, there's something about a standalone. You're not committing to a series. Not that I mind committing to series, but like, you're not committing to anything. You can just read it and be done with it, and you know, sit with the story. Like, there's no cliffhangers, there's no, oh well, what happens here.
Well, and particularly in the fantasy romancy genre, because like generally everything is minimum 3 books.
Yeah.
But and I couldn't read standalones all the time, but it is nice to have them.
Mm-hmm.
And we always talk about this all the time, about palette cleanser books.
Yes.
And I always say I struggle to find palette cleansers because you're much more varied in your reading than I am.
Yes.
I can't not do fantasy. Like, I can't. So I struggle with palette cleansers because I wouldn't say they don't really exist, but you don't get them as often in the fantasy romance genre. However, this is the definition of the perfect romantasy palette cleanser, this book.
Ooh.
So today, if you can't tell from the title, we are reading Once Charmed, Twice Cursed by Shaylin Gandhi.
Okay.
And
I love the name.
So, and again, without too many spoilers, it's woven into the story so well.
Oh, I love that. It's one of our questions, actually, isn't it?
It is. So, Shaylin Gandhi's profile.
Yeah.
So, Shaylin Gandhi is a prolific author. Just feel like I need to put that out there. She's written a lot. She's got a lot of books out there. She's got a lot of series. So, she has, at the moment, on Kindle, 6 books currently available. Now,
is it a KU book? Sorry.
Yeah, all of our books, I think, apart from one which hasn't come up yet, are all KU. So this is KU 100%. Even if it's not KU, it's only £2.49 to buy British sterling, which is about what, $3 to $4.
Yeah.
Not expensive at all. Again, a delight of a cover. So if you are looking for the paperback, it's a beautiful cover.
Can we see?
Can you see that?
Oh, it's got a bit of ring light on it, but yeah. Look. Oh, that's better. Oh. Stunning
cover. Shaylin Gandhi first fell in love with the love of stories when she stole from her mother's bookshelf at the age of 10. By 12, she perfected the art of reading under the covers by flashlight, and in high school, she attempted her first novel. She now writes from the mountains of Golden, Colorado, where she lives with her husband and identical twin daughters. When not finagling words onto paper, Shaylin can be found hiking, scheming at ways to earn another passport stamp, or ingesting enough coffee to power a small city.
Love that.
Adorable.
I love the reading under the covers with a flashlight. That's what I used to do when I was little.
Me too, but mine was, I used to do that, and it used to play my Game Boy like that as well. I used to have a little like plug-in USB light to my Game Boy, and I would sit and play it like that. So as we said, Shaylin Gandhi has got a lot of work out there that spans all within romance, but some not necessarily fantasy, than other things that are fantasy. So she does have series, working in progress fantasy series.
Nice.
But what we're covering today is the standalone. And like we said, this is a Kindle Unlimited book.
Yeah.
£2.49 British sterling if you want to buy the Kindle copy if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, and £11.99 for the paperback. Bargain. That's a McDonald's these days, isn't it?
For us, yeah.
So you can, available on Shaylin's website. If you Google Shaylin Gandhi on her website, you can actually buy a signed version of Once Charmed, Twice Cursed that comes with some fan art and a bookmark.
Love that.
And that is £19.31. Again, bloody bargain.
Yeah.
So that's Shaylin. Briar Radcliffe is charmed, blessed at birth with the mark of the fortune goddess. Armed with divine favour, Briar has survived freak storms, unearthed buried treasure. Buried? Unearthed buried treasure.
Buried.
And secured her family's fortune. She has no shortage of admirers clamouring to share her magical luck. Of her hometown's 100 eligible bachelors, 99 have proposed. Only Weston Wilds, her brother's best friend, remains silent. He's the only man Briar wants and bears the mark of a null, one whose touch can permanently negate her luck. Briar suspects Weston's distances himself to protect her, but he doesn't realise her blessing feels more like a curse. And that's what she craves the most, even more than him, is freedom from her mark. When Briar's brother arranges her marriage to a reviled... I'm writing a book, apparently. When Briar... This is going to take us so long to record, so it's literally opposite. When Briar's brother arranges her marriage to a reviled duke, a masked highwayman kidnaps her en route to the ceremony. It's then she realises Weston isn't the only null in town. Now, Briar's captor holds the key to the life she's always wanted, one that includes Weston and normalcy. Normalcy. If only she can convince the masked man to touch her before her luck runs out for good. When I read that, I was still like, I don't understand, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So, like it says, I said this to you, I think, when we were chatting about when I first started reading it. This book is like Bridgerton.
Yeah.
But with fantasy romance. Bridgerton with fantasy romance.
You look like you've got sock puppets on.
I'm Sam. Your neighbours are going to hate us. Can you? Do you not reckon?
No.
Did you test it out?
Yeah, we've had sex in
here. No, we haven't. Did you have a shag in here?
No, we haven't. We haven't.
It's Bridgerton with fantasy romance.
I love that.
And again, when I was first reading it, I was a bit like, oh, it's very Bridgerton-esque.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to vibe with this because I'm not a Bridgerton girly.
Yeah.
But no, I loved it because you've got a slight magical element to it. It just like hits that spot for me. So she's living with her parents and her brother. They're quite wealthy because of the fact that she's charmed. She was born with this like interlocking symbol, which is on the top of the chapter. So it's effectively kind of like 3 sort of triangles that interlock. Yeah. So that's the mark of like the blessed, like the good luck mark, basically.
Yeah.
The goddess is called Fortuna. That's what their goddess is called. So she's Fortuna blessed on her chest. So everything.
Oh, that right.
Yeah. Fortuna Bless on her chest. So everything she does in life is just good luck. Like when she walks in the rain, no rain hits her. Like money will just appear at her feet. And so her family are wealthy because of her. That's the only reason why they're wealthy, right? So she has an older brother, and ever since like she's been born, her parents have just like loved the fact that she's lucky. If you're within a certain distance of her, in terms of like closeness, you benefit from that luck as well. Ooh. So like in the village, all her mum's friends always wanted to be around her. She was basically paraded around as a child because she's lucky. So she's now about, I think, roughly at like 18 to 20.
Okay.
Her parents have pissed off for the last year on a world trip because they've made so much money off her.
Right.
So her brother's left in charge of their household estate and has been put in charge with marrying her off.
Okay.
Because she needs to get married. So it's a very uneven power balance in terms of men and women in this world.
Okay.
In ye olden times. So her brother's been accepting marriage proposals coming to the house and offering like a dowry, like a sum of money for her hand in marriage. And that's how he's going to make the decision. There's 100 eligible men in their local village that are eligible to marry her.
Okay.
When you start the book, 99 have come up and proposed.
Okay.
One hasn't, like it says, which is a guy called Weston, who is her brother's best friend. Not only is he her brother's best friend, just a bit like, he's poor, and he is a null, which is the opposite of what Bria is. So he also has a mark on his chest, but it's an inverted version of her mark, and it means that they are blessed with bad luck.
Right.
So everything bad happens to them. These people sometimes die really young because stuff will just happen. Anyone that's around him also gets bad luck. So his mother abandoned him when he was a baby, didn't want anything to do with him. He can only work like 1 or 2 days a week in the local like mill because he's such bad luck. Like nobody wants him around. So he's their accountant, but he only goes in when like nobody's there because nobody wants to be around him. Like he'll just trip and fall. I know it happens all the time, right? Like he even says at one point, like mice will just start to nibble his feet in his sleep, and he gets like sepsis from it. Like it's really sad. No, I know. It's really sad when he talks about it in the book right now. It's quite funny. But yeah, so it's really sad. But he's hot.
Ooh.
Bria and him have always had a thing for each other.
Okay.
Never physically touched, like never like done anything, but like yearning, burning. She thinks that it's reciprocated. Obviously, we don't know that at that point, but she's pretty convinced like he wants him. She's so madly in love with him. But he's one of her brother's best friends, so her brother wouldn't be happy. And two, he's a null. When Bria and Weston are near each other, their powers cancel each other out.
Okay.
So when a not charmed and a charmed are near each other, their powers are null. But it means that Weston isn't cursed. So he just lives like a normal person.
He doesn't fall over.
Have his toe nibbled by a mouse. But Briar's good luck doesn't work when he's around. There's also a rule, like in this world of this god, that when a null and a charmed physically touch for long enough, they permanently erase each other's marks. The marks disappear and they're no longer null and charmed. They are just like normal people. So the idea is you have to keep them away from each other as much as possible. So she desperately wants Weston to come pay a dowry. He doesn't. Then she finds out that he's been fighting in like fighting pits in the local sawmill where they work to go make some money. She's fuming, one, because he hasn't shown up to do the dowry, two, because he's fighting and she didn't know. So she goes in the night to go to this fighting pit. He's there fighting, and because he's cursed with bad luck, she notices up on the rafters somebody's left an axe hanging, and a cat is about to walk along and knock it off, and it'll fall on, because he's bad luck, it will fall on him and kill him. She's like, can't let that happen. So she runs and jumps into the fighting ring. Doesn't touch him, luckily, because she has like clothes on and stuff, so knocks him over, and he's like, what are you doing? And then they have it out, and she's like, why did you not show up? And he says, you know why I didn't show up? I'm not eligible. I'm my brother's best friend. I shouldn't be near you, like blah blah blah. She's like, whatever. The next day then, her brother says, oh, there's 100th caller that's just come to offer their hand in marriage. And she's like, oh my god, it's Weston. It's not Weston. It's a rich duke from like a neighbouring village. It's like unbelievably wealthy, older, but like she says he's handsome, but he's a bit of a snake. But he's had multiple wives that have all died in mysterious circumstances. And is known for apparently treating them, is previous wives really badly. He offers a shit ton of money for her because she's charmed.
Yeah.
She's going to profit his business, all these things. Her brother's like, yeah, absolutely. You're marrying this man. Just to put it out there, brother's a fucking prick. So her brother's like, yeah, you're marrying this man. And she's like, no, I'm not marrying this man. Literally kicking off in the foyer, like, I'm not marrying this man. He's a fucking creep. It's not happening. Door knocks, in walks Weston. And Weston's like, no, I've come to put my hand on in marriage. I can't offer you much money. I'll promise to never touch her. I'll promise to not go near her too often.
Yeah.
So we won't lose our mark. We won't like consummate the marriage, but I'll marry her because he wants her to be married to a good man.
Yeah.
And her brother's like, no fucking way. You're my best friend. You're a null and you're poor as fuck. Like, no, she's going to the rich duke that's in the foyer, basically. So that settles it. And she's so upset. She can't believe her brother's done it, but she's like, it is what it is. A few days past wedding day comes. She's in the carriage on the way. She's almost like disassociating because she's just like, I don't want this, but it is what it is. As she's about a mile from the Duke's estate, and she says, I don't want anyone there for the wedding. I just want it to be a private affair, honestly, get over and done with, put me out of my misery. So there's no like fanfare, brother's not with her. She's like, I don't want mum and dad to come back from travelling, just get this over and done with. She's about a mile out from the Duke's estate and she sees a man on a horse with a black mask on. She's like, what the fuck? Sorry, actually, he doesn't have a black mask on at that point. She just sees a man. It's not Weston, this man. Like she says, he's handsome, but it's not Weston. And he just sort of rides off and she's like, weird. About 10 minutes later, carriage gets knocked to the side, like all this commotion. And she realizes we're under attack. This person is like like a highwayman is attacking the carriage.
Right.
So she hears the kerfuffle because the carriage is still going quick. She can't do anything. She can't jump out of the carriage. She just has to let it happen. So she's aware that the carriage has been taken over and this man she assumes is riding it. Eventually they come to a stop. The man walks into the carriage with a mask on. So at that point he put like a black mask on and she says he's really handsome, but it's not Weston because it was the man she saw earlier. And he comes in and says, look, I'm kidnapping you. I'm not going to hurt you, but I need you for something.
Right.
I just need you to come with me and explain everything, but I'm not going to hurt you, but I just need your charmed powers. And she's like, okay. And she says, well, if you promise to never give me back to the Duke, save me from this marriage, I'll do whatever you want once you're done with me. He's like, fine. But then straight away, she looks at him and she's like, he's really hot. And she just kisses him.
Oh.
Because she's like, I don't know, just something comes over her and she kisses him. And he, in the beginning, it's a bit like, just kissing me, who are you? Like, this is a bit weird. But then it describes like he's into it.
Okay.
Puts her on like the seat of the carriage. It's like hiking up her dress. It's getting really like steamy. And then she's like, oh, I feel weird. And he pushes off. And then she notices he has a null mark on his chest. They weren't touching for long enough that like it zapped, but she could feel their powers being drained. She's like, oh my God. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to happen, but like I need your help. Well, he takes her to a cottage, in the middle of the woods. And it's described as almost like two cottages that have been like fused together. So there's like almost two ends, like a semi-detached, basically. And he explains somebody that he loves very dearly, doesn't say who, is in the other side of the cottage. So imagine two cottages literally stuck to each other like that, but the entrances are facing away and there's a wall in between. Somebody he loves is living in this cottage, but they're really, really sick. And they're sick because they've been spending too much time around him because he's a null. Right. They've got bad luck, they've got flu and they're dying. He needs her literally to just live in this cottage so she's in a close enough vicinity that her good luck will heal this woman. He'll keep away and she just needs her to literally just exist in this cottage for like a few weeks so that this person on the other side of the wall can heal, basically. Okay. But basically then it's all about this given push and pull between her and her highwayman captor because she doesn't want to be charmed. She doesn't want to be blessed. Yeah. She wants to get rid of it. So it's basically then this like push and pull relationship between the two of them all the time, because if they were to physically touch long enough, he could be rid of his null, which she knows is like a really unfortunate thing to be around. The reason why this person on the other side of the cottage is ill is because of that. And he describes like lots of things in his life have gone wrong. Like he was shunned because of it, which a lot of nulls are. Like every null is shunned basically. And yeah, basically she would be rid of this charm. So even though she's charmed, she doesn't feel it. She doesn't like it. She's always been used for what she is. No one's ever actually seen her for her. Her parents use her, like she's been sold off for this reason. Yeah. So yeah, it's basically all about her like living in this cottage and this push and pull between this mysterious highwayman. And yeah, I can't go into like, I would say brother's best friend is definitely like one of the tropes in it, or certainly in the beginning that is one of like the tropes in it. I wouldn't say it's enemies to lovers, because I don't feel like her and the highwayman are ever enemies.
Okay. It's not like somebody from a different cult like that.
No, yeah, no. And I think like straight away she knows, like he says, I'm not going to hurt you, I just need your help. Yeah. And like he's really doing her a favor because he's getting her out of a marriage. So I wouldn't say it's enemies to lovers. In the blurb for it says, once charmed, twice cursed is a standalone brother's best friend romantasy, perfect for those who wish Princess's Bride had been a little angstier and a little bit steamier. Ooh. So it's definitely got spice. It's a good level of spice. Again, not like super, super spicy, but not, I'm, like I don't feel like I got anything. You definitely do get spice, but it's not like super spicy. It's like, I'd say an appropriate amount of spice for like a standalone. Okay. And the type of plot that it is. But I think this is like a 2.5 to 3 hour read for the average reader. Oh wow, okay. So it's short, but it's so quick paced that it doesn't feel like, when we read the monster romances, particularly my one, it was kind of a novella, wasn't it? Yeah. This isn't a novella. It is considered a full length novel, but it's so quick. It doesn't stop. It's just like bang, bang, bang. In a good way, there's like no fluff. Does that make sense? It just keeps going.
Well, because it's not a series, you don't really need to do that world building.
And there's a bit of like, I don't know if it's magic, but there's a bit of like magic involved, but it's not that it's just not overly complicated. Like some people are charmed, some people are nulls. They have this mark, they have that mark. If they touch, they negate each other forever. A bit ye old and timey, but like there's no requirement for world building because it's completely plot driven. So there's no need for like, this is how the magic system works. It doesn't. You don't need that because it's such a simple concept, but also really, really clever.
Nice.
So I literally read this in one sitting, one evening, 2.5 hours I think it took me to read. Ate it up, loved it. Like, just a delight.
What was your favourite part of this book?
I actually enjoyed that it was like a brother's best friend type of romance. Okay. Certainly in the beginning. I didn't know that I'd love that because I've never really read that kind of... I'm so used to enemies to lovers that it was a bit different having two people that don't hate each other in the beginning. Obviously I don't want to say any more tropes because I don't want to spoil the result, but certainly in the beginning I didn't think I'd like that, but actually I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Did you race to the end or was it more of a slow burn?
No, race to the end. And again, like it's such a quick read anyway, I just feel like you can't not, it's so fast paced.
Which scene from the book has stuck with you?
The spice scene when you get the actual like bang bang is wonderful.
Would you want to read more by this author?
100%. I've already put all her other fantasy romance books on my TBR. I think one of them doesn't come out till next year, and I can't remember if the other one is out, but I've put it all on my TBR. Yes, 100%.
What surprised you most when reading this book?
I wouldn't say anything surprised me, but I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it didn't ever feel predictable. It was just, what surprised me? I think how much I enjoyed it being a standalone.
Yeah, okay.
I guess.
How did your opinion change as the book went on?
Again, I didn't think that I'd love the whole like brother's best friend thing about it, but I actually like that because you are like in a bit of a like, you don't know who you're rooting for, like two different people basically, and you don't really know like where it's going to go. And I didn't think I would like that the main character for, again, the beginning portion is so for her brother's best friend, but I actually was rooting for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Love that. How does this book's title work in relation to the content?
I feel like I can't really say that without any spoilers. It definitely, you don't get it till towards the end, but when it clicks, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But I can't really say that without spoiling it.
That's absolutely fine. Did this book remind you of any other books?
I wouldn't say other books, but it definitely reminded me of The Princess's Bride.
Okay.
Like, I love that film, and I will say, like, 100% it reminds me of The Princess's Bride. And yeah, it was just a delight. A delight. I loved it.
Love that. Anything else to add? Anything else you want to say?
Just that I think if you're like me, where you need a palate cleanser, but you don't like reading non-fantasy, like, this is like, you just got, I think even if you're not looking for a palate cleanser, it's such a quick read. It's so enjoyable. Like, you just gotta, if you just sat down one evening and you just want a quick, like, 2-3 hour read, you just need to do it. Like, wonderful.
Love that. As always, we have our main channel episodes coming out every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back for another author spotlight at the end of the month.
We will. Where
I will be reading A Vow of Lies by A. Lonergan. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this author spotlight.
What?